Awesome. Let's go ahead and get started. Thank you all so much for being here at another town hall. We have a pretty packed agenda today, as usual. Pretty exciting stuff. I'm Marcus from the Near Foundation community team, and excited to present a wonderful lineup. I'm going to go ahead and segue over to Chris, who will be introducing today's agenda, and then we'll go ahead and get started.
Thank you very much, Marcus. Hello, everybody. Great to see you all here. I'm Chris Donovan, General Counsel at the Near Foundation, for those who don't know me. So yeah, to Marcus's point, jam-packed agenda. So I'm going to run through a kind of standard intro in a moment, followed by a Horizon update from Laura, NDC update from Blaze, which I will also talk about in a second as well. Then some usual exciting partnership spotlights for Glass and Hibiki Run. And then we're going to jump into everything BOSS, so talking some BOSS integration, some BOSS hacks, and then also Metapool Gitcoin interactions as well. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Marcus, next slide, please. Okay, so we'll kick off with a reminder of the Foundation's core mission and also, as it happens, its legal mandate, and that is to support the ongoing growth and development of an autonomous and decentralized NEAR ecosystem. Next slide, please. Now, the convictions that underpin that, that they are absolutely essential. So first of all, it all starts with developers and users. They're at the heart of everything that we do. It needs to be easy for developers to be able to enter the ecosystem and begin using the tools and technology to build exciting stuff. And then there also needs to be rich, engaging user experiences with seamless onboarding to make sure users can actually discover all of the great things in the ecosystem. And Fast Auth is a great example of seamless onboarding experience. The Foundation also firmly believes in the true open web, and a fundamental part of that is ensuring that users can easily transfer profiles, data, assets, basically their digital lives between different applications, different platforms, and different environments. We want to see an end to the fragmentation and tribalism between different ecosystems, different L1s and L2s and whatnot that we think ultimately is harmful to us all. And lastly, of course, that NEAR is the BOSS, the blockchain operating system. And actually the NEAR ecosystem and the NEAR protocol is the only place that has the necessary tech to support a true blockchain operating system, i.e. a stack of decentralized components. Next slide, please, Marcus. So many of you have seen this before. So this is the strategy for onboarding millions of users into the NEAR ecosystem. And it's a two-pronged approach. As you can see, there's a bottoms-up element and a top-down approach as well. So starting with the bottoms-up element, that is all about the community. It's the grassroots efforts, things like NDC and all of the grassroots DAOs that many of you are already a part of. I just wanted to do a quick plug as well for the NDC nominations. They are now live. Folks can nominate themselves. The nominations actually end on September the 7th, and the elections then start September the 8th to the 22nd. I would encourage everyone in the ecosystem, everyone who has even a passing interest in wanting to have a say in how the future of the NEAR ecosystem governance will evolve, to please put yourself forwards and to get involved. In addition to that grassroots community-based efforts, we also have NEAR Horizon, which Laura is going to give us an exciting update on in a minute. And as many of you will probably know, this is basically an accelerator for all of the projects out in the NEAR ecosystem. And the aim is to ensure that anyone who comes into the ecosystem wanting to build an exciting project or business, they have access to all of the tools and the advice and the support that they need to scale their business rapidly. Then lastly, on the top-down approach, this is all of the partnerships work that we are constantly engaging in to bring in more users and more use cases into the ecosystem. You've heard plenty about a lot of really exciting partnerships over the past few town halls. We've got more coming up today, and there will always be a lot more to come as well. And of course, where these two strategies meet right in the middle is NEAR, the blockchain operating system, and it powers everything that we're doing and everything that we're building towards. Next slide, please. Perfect. So on that note, I will pass over to Laura for a Horizon update.
Great. Thank you, Chris. Hey, everyone. I'm Laura, and I lead Horizon. Since we launched in April, we have been listening and learning a ton. And so I wanted to just share some updates about what we've learned and where we're going. And the first thing is just that we've been hearing a bunch of feedback that it's not entirely clear what Horizon is and how you can get involved. So first and foremost, I wanted to just kind of level set about what Horizon is, and I think equally as importantly, what it is not. And so what is Horizon? So at its most basic level, it's a connection platform. So it allows founders to connect with people and organizations and resources to help you be successful. It is for every founder building in the near ecosystem. So even if you're not yet at the stage where you're raising money, or if a traditional accelerator program is not right for you right now, Horizon is the place where you can say what you need and then get help from other people. So it is also importantly a place where you can provide help to others as well. So if you have a skill set that is useful for other projects, this is the place to go to see if that skill set is needed by other projects, and you can actually get involved. And then as profiles create projects, it's also becoming the repository of active projects in the near ecosystem. So that's really essentially what Horizon is. So if you go to the next slide, what Horizon is not. So it is not a traditional accelerator. We have partnered with accelerator programs like Outlier and Encode Club, but those are really options that you can pick if you are ready for a program like that. So that is not what we do. Horizon is also not a place where you are going to get grant or investment capital. This is the role of community DAOs and NDC, really is to focus on those treasury allocation pieces. So Horizon does not have a budget to allocate capital. So if you go to the next slide, tactically, what can you do on Horizon today? You can create a profile and tell the community what you're building, right? Get your project out there in the community. You can create a support request, so you can ask for the support that you need. And you can respond to support requests. So we have a ton of very skilled people in this community, and the goal is for us to be able to help one another build. Importantly, payment terms for support, this is another thing we've been hearing feedback on, that this is not clear. So just to try to level set here, payment terms are totally up to you and the person who's helping you. So you could determine that there's going to be no payment for the work that is happening and that you're doing together. You could determine that you want to pay in an unlaunched token or a POAP. You could even pay with cookies, totally up to you. And you can also access learning resources. So we've actually just added a bunch of content from our Encode Club Educate series, and we'll be adding more over time, but you can access all of that recorded content as well. And if you go to the next slide, you can also become active in the Horizon community. So every Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central European time, we host a connection session. So this is, we have informal demo days where founders are showing each other what they're building, they're getting feedback, very informal, no VCs there, really just a time to show what you're building and get feedback from others. We hold office hours, which is more about bringing things that you're thinking about to the Horizon team, getting feedback from us directly, and us sharing updates with you about what we're building. And then we also do AMA sessions with subject matter experts, and that's where we can hear from some of the service providers in our ecosystem about, how do you build a really good marketing strategy? How do you think about go-to-marketing, things like that? And so if you go to the next slide, who is here? If you were to come to Horizon, who's here already? There are 230 projects that have created profiles, and we've seen actually a 7% week over week increase in projects profiles being created. And we're seeing that projects are starting to create those support requests. So the ones that are live include requests for marketing support, hiring needs, smart contract audits, and more. So come on board, take a look at what people need support with, and see if you can help out. We also have 76 contributors. So those are the people and the organizations that who can help. And so would love for those folks who have said they are contributors to actually start, seeing what people need and jumping in and providing support. And then we have 11 backers. And just a note on backers, I think this is another point of feedback that we've been hearing, where are the really serious VCs? And so to note, I think the really serious VCs are going to come to the platform when we have more amazing projects on the platform. So what we need is for all of you to show the great work that you're doing by creating a profile, adding in your pitch deck, right? Adding information about what you're doing. And the more we have of that, the more excitement we're going to see from our backer network. And so in terms of what's coming up next, if you go to the next slide, we are about to release a fully new mobile experience next week. So this is kind of our product roadmap. We have also been collaborating with the Atlas team and Pike Speak to create data displays for information like monthly active accounts and transactions on each of the profile pages. So you can actually see what is the project doing, what kind of traction do they have. This is kind of akin to what we saw on Awesome Near. And so this is actually live now today. So if you go on Horizon, you can see it. And then in September, we're going to be releasing perks. So things like access to Notion and Google Cloud credits, and then followed by the ability to actually have discussions within the platform. So again, all of this is really around trying to provide you with other resources that you need when you're early in your journey of building, and access to a community that can help you. And then in October, we're going to be integrating with teams like Learn Near Club and others to provide access to beta testers. So you can actually, again, one of the biggest things we hear is that, projects that are early on, it's hard to find people to actually use your product and give you feedback. So we're partnering with folks to be able to give you access to do that. So if you go to the next slide, we're also really, really excited to announce our latest community offering, which is called Horizon One. This is a cohort-based learning community that blends practical knowledge, networking, mentorship, and technical support. So you can see kind of a snapshot of the scope and sequence of the program here. And just to call it a couple things that we're really excited about. One is, one of the most common challenges we hear is that, especially for first-time founders, it's very hard to understand the capital raise process. Right. So we're going to be doing a ready to raise bootcamp that basically provides very tactical information about how do you run a capital raise process? How do you tell your story? How do you create a data room? Again, very tactical things, providing templates and sort of guidance. The other really common challenge we've heard that I mentioned earlier is just access to end users. And so both from a consumer standpoint and a B2B standpoint, the ability to do customer discovery and research is so critical and actually really challenging. And so we have this discovery sprint that provides you with best practices around user research and design, as well as direct access to those end users. So both consumer and sort of that B2B like brand side. And then we're also super excited about the community building aspects of the program. So we're going to have both IRL and virtual moments to work together, including a full day founder retreat at NearCon. So super excited about that. And then just want to note, this is an investment and equity-free program, so it is non-dilutionary. And we are really treating this first cohort as a beta, so we can learn and adjust with the goal of launching a second cohort in January. The program is 90 days with a commitment of 2 to 4 hours a week. And to learn more, we're going to do a deep dive on the program. Please join our Founders Friday this Friday. So how you can get involved, if we go to the next slide. First and foremost, create a profile, get involved in the Horizon community by doing that. Become a contributor if you have something to add, right? And you can do all this on the platform. Share your needs. So tell everybody what you're working on and what you need, and then help other projects. And then as I just mentioned, you can learn more about the Horizon One and sign up for the waitlist at this link. And then join our Founder Fridays. We do them every Friday, but this Friday we're going to be going deep into Horizon One and also building community. So if you're interested, please sign up at this link. And then, of course, please, I hope you hear through this update is that we actually really value the feedback that we're hearing. Super helpful for us. So please keep it coming. Tell us what you need. Tell us what you need more of and what you need less of. And so if you can email us at horizon@near.foundation, we are here and listening and learning. So appreciate all of you for the feedback you have given, and we're excited about what's coming up. So thank you.
All right. Hello, everybody. Happy to give you an NDC update today. It's an exciting time in our ecosystem here. So yeah, let's go to the next slide. So we're having our first ever governance elections at this stage, right? So it's a very exciting time in the ecosystem to put forward governance as well as restoring funding to our grassroots community. Right now, we have two grassroots DAOs receiving funding, creatives and marketing from the NDC, and we want to expand that scope and restore funding to the rest of the grassroots community. So what's that mean? You know, nominations are actually live right now. Elections are coming soon. So in order to nominate yourself to run for this first governance session, you need to be an OG, which means you need to hold an OG SBT. The critical date for you to understand there is August 21st. That application process closes. To date, we have 272 OGs that have a SBT. And of those, thanks, David, of those, here's who's nominated. So the nominations, then the deadline to nominate is September 7th. So we have right now HOM, there's 15 of 15, COA 9 of 7. So only 15 total seats, 7 seats and 7 seats. So as you can see, we're now approaching that demarcation mark where we're going to have more nominees than seats, which is good. And we want that to increase. My understanding is still many OGs going to come forward and nominate. It does take a bit to fill out your nomination profile. I would say between 30 minutes to an hour. So take a little bit of time to do that. And then we kick off elections September 8th. So on the 8th, we'll actually have our first elections for the ecosystem to vote on those candidates. So you can check out, announce your candidacy on Boss and also see all the active candidates that are out there, their platforms, what they plan to run on to improve the near ecosystem. You can upvote them, you can comment them. So please go out there and engage. We also have election education material there that you can begin to read through. So hit those QR codes. And then next slide. So what are the safeguards on V1? There's been a lot of discussion lately about, launching proof of personhood for this election cycle, as well as many of the other aspects of governance, the 3 houses, the number of seats, right? So there's a lot of discussion there. But here are our safeguards. This first governance session will run for 6 months is the plan. We're going to put out a final poll to the community on what that budget cap is going to be. So it's not going to be, something where the full treasury can be exposed, but the full treasury is about 6 to 7 million right now. So that first cycle will be between 2 and 7 million. Obviously, we want to see pragmatism there and, adjust as necessary. You must be an OG to be elected. So there's a lot of concern about outside folks coming into the election, but you must hold an OG SBT. And so far, we have a limited number of candidates running, enough for the houses, but we'll see more come forward. Then you can only be a human to vote. Just because you've claimed your OG SBT, it doesn't give you voting rights. You must be a human to vote in this first election. That proof of personhood protocol will actually grow and expand over time to give you more voting power based on your reputation in the ecosystem and how you're actively contributing. But we have to start somewhere. So you just have to have a face verification SBT to vote. Lastly, our trustees are fiduciaries on our treasury. So in the case that something may not go the way that it's wanted with the election, there's a lot of safeguards in place from the governance structure itself to the trustees being the last line of defense that they don't have to deploy funds in the case that the funds are not being used for the purpose to grow and expand the ecosystem. So those are our V1 safeguards. Next slide. So this kind of gives you an idea of the houses and the different seats that are available. So House of Merit is really about budget planning for the ecosystem as we look at restoring grassroots funding to the entire ecosystem, all the verticals. We need to elect individuals into those seats that understand those verticals, understand budget planning, and KPIs, monitoring, things of that nature. And so if you're someone that has great skills with managing large budgets, planning, following up on KPIs, OKRs, and you have a passion for driving value for the funds being dispersed from the community treasury, HOM is a great place for you to nominate. Council of Advisors, this is strategic mind. So we have a North Star of 10 million monthly active accounts. So COA really does 2 things. They advise the House of Merit on budget planning, and they also hold veto power over the budget. So in the case that the budget is not aligned with our North Star and directionally going the right direction to grow the ecosystem and sustain it, the Council of Advisors can veto that budget. So if you're a strategic planner that's like really looking at the mission of NEAR to empower people to have access to their data, power of governance and assets, then COA is a great place for you. Transparency Commission, these are the watchdogs of the Treasury. So they're investigating misconduct that could be brought up by the community about the governing bodies. They're looking at conflicts of interest. They're helping define our ethics and our culture within the ecosystem, like where we're going directionally with that. So if you have a real idea to protect our Treasury and make sure that cartels don't get in, and if they do, then there's appropriate actions there, that's a Transparency Commission. So one of those three houses you can run for, and then, turn out your voting base to really nominate and elect you into this first governance session. So next slide. Just want to drop some quick news here. So what are we working on? What's going on in the NDC right now? So obviously elections are our main focus in getting out more election material, educating the ecosystem at large. We also launched Reputation on NEAR. The first product is called Kudos. We really believe that celebrating one another in a decentralized ecosystem is very important. What happens with Kudos is if you get 3 upvotes to a Kudo, then you can mint a soulbound token that becomes part of your reputation. More things on reputations as we kind of expand and continue to grow. You can also issue dings on that, which says you feel like there's some misconduct or negative behavior, and that ding can be also attributed to your reputation if there's enough community consensus about it. Obviously, there's a lot more community consensus required to issue a ding. So we also launched Easy Poll, is our polling mechanism that's been out there for some time, but we updated that. So now OGs only. If you're an OG SBT holder, you can run polls on there and get only OGs to weigh in on decisions. So the governance working group will test some polls out with just OGs. Lastly, the ecosystem roundtable. We met about kind of what the vision and the forward strategy is for NDC in this first governance session. The recommendation that came out of that is that really for NDC to primarily focus on grassroots community and builders. So really grow the grassroots community, restore funding to our builders in the ecosystem. It's not a focus on B2B partnerships, or it's not really a focus on the existing nodes today to fund those in this first governance session. It's really a focus of getting our grassroots community active again, as funding's been off for 9+ months. Also define what the next Treasury tranche is. So the go, no go exit criteria for this V1 governance. How do we get to that next deployment of capital into the Treasury? And then lastly, an ecosystem map, just to understand who does what. So a flywheel was created for the NDC, and that graphic will be coming out on what that focus is, aligned with that first bullet there. So lots of things going on in the NDC. You can always check into neardc.org or app.neardc.org and start to engage in the NDC process there, and find us on Medium and Telegram as well. So really, thank you. I hope that was informative, but see you out there in the Nearverse.
Hey everyone, Devin here from the business development team. Since the beginning of the summer, the BD team has closed 18 deals, and all of which are helping us open the web. We have 2 partners today who are really excited to showcase: Glass, which was led by Harshit, and Hibiki Run, which was led by Maggie. Without further hesitation, please welcome Zoe Leavitt from Glass. Off to you, Zoe.
Great, thanks so much. Hi everyone, I'm Zoe Leavitt, the CEO and founder of Glass. Can you go to the next slide? Great. And thank you so much also to Harshit, as you mentioned, for bringing us into the NEAR community. So you can go to the next slide. So our vision with Glass is to unlock direct digital connections for the $1.6 trillion global alcohol industry and their consumers for the first time, leveraging Web3, but really solving a problem that has existed in Web 1, Web 2, and of course Web 3 for the massive global alcohol industry. Next slide. And so my background is on the alcohol tech side. I previously led early stage social and entertainment investments for ZX Ventures, the VC fund of AB InBev, the world's largest beer company, where I saw every day that even as these brands like Budweiser, Michelob Ultra, Stella Artois are spending tens of billions of dollars annually on advertising, aiming to reach consumers during purchasing and social occasions, they have no way to directly connect digitally to consumers in those moments. They're still reliant on Super Bowl halftime ads on TV that no one's really watching, billboards that people are driving by, paper coasters at bars that are, getting crumpled and no one's really paying attention to. And the reasons for this separation between alcohol brands and consumers is really in three parts. One is that in the US, alcohol brands are actually generally not allowed to sell directly to consumers, which means that the decade plus of e-commerce relationships that nearly every other product category has been able to develop it does not exist for alcohol brands. Secondly, alcohol brands are reliant on a really fragmented range of sales channels. Think about, all the occasions when you might be drinking at a friend's house, ordering on Drizzly, buying at the bar or the restaurant or the sports stadium. And because these are sales that are all managed by third parties, alcohol brands really have no way to trace those purchases and connect with consumers in those moments. And then finally, on top of these large kind of legal separations on the sales side, there's also very complicated legal restrictions on a state by state and even zip code by zip code basis around how alcohol brands are able to market and engage to consumers. So these were challenges I saw from the brand side every day at AB InBev. And then if we can go to the next slide. For us as consumers, as I think, maybe a lot of us here even relate, we all have our favorite brands, our favorite drinks that we're ordering across, again, the bar, the restaurant, the music festival, when you're out with friends. And yet consumers have no way to be rewarded for their loyalty and engagement with their favorite alcoholic beverages, even as we see loyalty and rewards programs exploding across other industries. So as I started to learn, so in Web3, we see incredible potential to bridge the gap between alcohol brands and consumers through tokenized one-to-one digital connections that enable alcohol consumers to opt in to tokenized digital connections with brands that are legally compliant because they're on the marketing side rather than on the sales side, and to enable consumers to start earning and tracing and being rewarded for their loyalty and engagement with brands, and brands to really, for the first time, directly access consumers, engage consumers during social moments, and trace consumer behavior in a consistent way across channels and touch points. So we can go to the next slide. So this is exactly what Glass is set up to support. Glass is a marketplace platform. We actually launched our beta just last week, so please check it out at www.glass.fun. On Glass, consumers can follow their favorite alcohol brands and start earning brand tokens by purchasing product, but also engaging in challenges that range from voting on brand decisions to trying new cocktail recipes to hosting events with friends, taking pictures of their cocktail mixology expertise and posting on Instagram. And then consumers can redeem those brand tokens to unlock exclusive rewards and experiences from the brands that can also range from free and discounted drinks to really unique money can't buy experiences that leverage assets that these brands already have in their pockets. So things like meet and greets with celebrities that are on the cap tables of so many alcohol brands these days, to VIP tickets to sports and music events that these alcohol brands already have access to through their sponsorships. Importantly, we're, and I'll talk a bit about our relationship with Near on the next and final slide, but importantly, we're leveraging a really unique compliance protocol that governs the usage of these alcohol tokens as well, to ensure that consumers can only access the brand challenges and alcohol brand rewards that meet the legal requirements in their country, state, and zip code. So for example, a consumer might be able to access a free drink in Florida or Las Vegas, where everything is allowed. But in Utah, which has very strict regulations around alcohol, that discount they might only be able to use their tokens to access a 5 or 10% discount. So that automation is really what unlocks Web3 for the global alcohol industry, and really differentiates us from other more generalized Web3 loyalty and rewards platforms on the market. You can go to the next slide. So we're really, really thrilled to be working with Near, and we see massive potential to build on Near going forward. We are launching the brand tokens are launching on Near. So after completing each brand challenge, the consumer earns an NFT brand badge that is, as mentioned, built on Near and also with our compliance protocol. Over time, we're in our, of course, early days right now, but over time we plan to start turning these badges into dynamic NFTs that can evolve based on the consumer's own drinking preferences and habits. So if someone's more someone who likes drinking beer while watching sports, the NFT their kind of badge can evolve in that direction. If someone's more really a music fan, their badge can evolve in that direction. And we can start to make real personalized recommendations for drinks, social experiences, and more based on these badges and the consumer data that we're collecting. With Near, we also see massive potential to integrate with other projects across the Near ecosystem. Beyond the incredible technology, we were really excited to partner with Near based on the focus on entertainment and sports in particular, which are so relevant to the alcohol industry. So we see, massive potential going forward for this to almost reinvent alcohol sponsorship of entertainment and social occasions, so that someone who's a member of the SailGP DAO, for example, and this is right now a hypothetical example, but could use their SailGP tokens to access free drinks through Glass, which could replace and make more efficient the money that those alcohol brands would otherwise use to sponsor SailGP overall. This really turns that into a Web3 experience and brings direct consumer relationships into play, and enables alcohol brands to really drive rewards to the consumers that are really helping the brands grow on the ground and creating those social experiences with their friends, their favorite sports teams, their favorite music acts that are important to us overall as social humans, social creatures, but also really important for the massive global alcohol industry. So please reach out at Zoe, ZOE at glass.fun if you'd like to chat further. Thanks so much.
Hi, I'm very excited to introduce Leo Wang, who's a serial entrepreneur, co-founder, and CEO of Hibiki Run. Thanks again to Maggie Sun for bringing Hibiki Run to Near. Just a quick intro, Hibiki Run is a music discovery platform with over 1 million soundtracks. Key is a play-to-earn feature. Currently, Hibiki Run started with Japan, so they have over 1,500 creators in Japan bringing original creative content. There's over 100K users already on Hibiki Run, and we're very focused on bringing them to Near through a wallet integration. So with that, let me turn it over to Leo.
Thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, folks. Here, I'd like also to introduce my partner, Alex. He's also here, co-founder and COO of this project as well. So we're going to talk about different angles of this projects. So let me start with my personal introduction and over the background of the team. Hello again. My name is Leo Wang, co-founder and CEO of Hibiki Run. I'm thrilled to be here today in this town hall and give folks in the near ecosystem a quick introduction of our projects and what we have been building since February last year. As Maggie already introduced, Hibiki runs a gamified music discovery platform, and we utilize our headphone NFTs as a core game assets and for progressive game and music streaming journey. Now we are a team that consists of 16 people. We're fully decentralized and remote in 3 different continents. Our R&D team located in Toronto and Vancouver, design team in Vancouver and New York. We also have an operation team in London, UK, and Tokyo, Japan, led by Alex. A little bit introduction of me and Alex. We were high school friends back in Shenzhen, China, previously in 2007. And after that, I went to Toronto, Canada, and he went to Hong Kong and UK. I hold a double degree of computer engineering and business from University of Toronto. Back in my early years of career, I worked at several big tech companies such as IBM, AMD, Amazon. And then I start my startup journeys, also worked for PingCap, some other startup companies. My area of focuses have always been distributed system and database. And since 2020, the pandemic, I've been fully working from home, and I start to found projects of my own. And Hibiki Run has been launched since January 2022 with my partner, Alex. I'm going to pass to Alex for a quick introduction of himself as well.
Oh, thanks, Leo. Hello, this is Alex, co-founder and COO at Hibiki Run. It's very privileged to join today's town hall and share things we do with what we do with gamified music discovery at Hibiki Run. My background is in data science and consulting. I'm now based in UK and had lived in Hong Kong and Japan previously. One thing about the project name is called Hibiki, and Hibiki, it has something to do with the whiskey, of course, but for us, it means sound, resonance, and harmony in Japanese. I'll pass back to you, Leo.
All right, thank you, Alex. Next page, please. Thank you. I'm going to quick share our unique selling points. And of course, the app is available in both Apple Store and Google Play. We launched the app successfully this year, mid of January, on Polygon mainnet, and soon we'll integrate wallet on Near. So Hibiki Run is using a very simple route or model for user acquisition, which is introduced as play to earn or free to play. The core value of our project resides in our content and game model, which is to use Gachapon as an in-app distribution gateway to package and deliver creators' content and promote them to general audience and players. So essentially, we are in the creator economy vertical market. And why we choose creator economy? At the early stage last year, when we did our feasibility study, we found that there weren't any projects combining Web3 gamification, NFT liquidity, and creators' content. And we feel that that's a big, great potentials and real needs from the independent artists and musicians, so that as a project, we can curate and foster a lot in this area. We feel that this is a sustainable and organic market for long-term development. Speaking of this, our Japanese culture, when we bootstrap our projects, is very unique that, you know, Japanese players, they are very focused in GameFi projects, and overnight we got more than 3,000 to 5,000 Japanese early OGs supporting us. And we realized there actually a big potential in this Japanese market, especially when we do the culture study. We realized starting from very early, for example, the karate, the Godzilla, the Dragon Balls, they have big impacts in the current NFT projects. You can see a lot of Japanese elements in the design or in the culture layers. So Alex, would you want to quickly talk about the unique culture?
Yes, of course. As Leo has just mentioned, we have incorporated many Japanese elements into this product, and that's for a couple of reasons. One is that Japanese aesthetics touch a lot of people globally, and even Van Gogh himself was a huge fan of the Japanese art styles before anime was even born. And then there's the creator economy factor, as Liu mentioned. Japan contributed 10% of the global creator economy market cap, which is understandable because of the rich IPs. And according to our own research, on the NFT side, Japan only contributes around 1% of the overall NFT market cap. So there's a huge gap we think that we can really tap into.
Thank you. Next slide, please. Quickly introducing our universe pillars. We call it pillar, but really it's the game foundation. To really summarize Hibiki Run's game mechanics with simple 3 words term, it's called play to collect. Here we have 3 main game foundations, or we call them pillars, which is play, ruffle, and collect. As you can see, that play, it means play the game, play music. We had leverage our core NFT, headphone NFTs as the gateway or medium to execute the role. And after you listen to some music, earn some coin or token, you can use that to play ruffle, which is what we call the gachapon machine. Gachapon has a rich culture in Japan. You can, if you work in Japan or you travel in Japan, you can see gachapon machines everywhere in the bus stations, in the subways, and even in the restaurants. And it fits all kind of demographics, and pretty much it carries the Japanese IP, small, big ones, and it has a really a rich history into it. So we kind of want to use this digitalized ruffle machine as a carrier to really package and deliver the creators' contents to gamers. And the next pillar is what we call collect. After you receive some digital collectibles from this ruffle machine, and then we can definitely do something about this for how you want to flex your collections. And that's what we are currently developing. Fundamentally, we want to really establish easy user acquisition. Our mission and vision has always been lowering the entry bar and enhance the user experience of onboarding the app. And we believe it needs to be generally available for everyone, including Web2 users. On top of this easy user acquisition, we also build a circular economy for users to get incentives and to reuse the token into the ecosystem to advance the game. In terms of the creator economy, it has a very unique or great external values. Independent artists and musicians are huge groups and open to Web3 incentives, such as tokens. They are also very active and great content creators, but have not really been able to be recognized in the centralized platforms such as Spotify, YouTube, or TikTok. And they have their own fan base that can be converted to our app, users to collect their digital collectibles from their idols. And our vision is really to leverage the Web3 technology, and we're really privileged to have Near to in future to be our really backbones to support us to promote our digital contents while organically grow our community from both Web2 and Web3. And we also spend a lot of sweat and hearts into this UI UX design. I'll pass to Alex to quickly talk about it.
Yes. Indeed, we put much effort in the overall user experience, be it sound effects when you play the ruffle machine, which is the combination of a DJ turntable, a claw machine, and the traditional gachapon machine you'll find easily on any street in Tokyo. And we also have deliberately designed these headphones visuals, and they correspond to different music genres and a lot of other details to make the app super sleek and easy to use. When it comes to community building, I think we can talk about community afterwards. Yeah, back to you, Leo.
For sure. And next slide, please. This is the game mechanics simple graph to demonstrate it. Overall, we have 3 digital assets. The fundamental one is the headphones. Everybody can receive a free headphones, not tradable, not mintable, doesn't have any Web3 features, but you can use it to listen to music and unlock different music genres. And after you advance your game journey, you will receive some other game items. We have this pouch, which carries components of what we call omamori, which is amulet or protection in the middle. After you receive 5 pieces, and you can fuse them into a complete omamori and use the omamori to, for example, boost the token earning or to unlock some game mechanics. Use the headphones to unlock different music genres. You can even work out using these headphones for music discovery, We have a really smart system. We cache the metadata of the music into our caching systems layer, and promote using our unique algorithm to promote different genre of music to users depending on their favorite musics. And after you listen to music, you can earn some HUT. You can spend that HUT, which is our game tokens in Gachapon, to really advance the next journey, which is collection. Yeah, that's a pretty simple game route, and we don't really want to make it confusing. So in simple words, it's a play, raffle, collect, play to collect route. Next slide, please. Yeah, I'll pass to Alex to talk about our go-to-market strategy and our community.
Of course. And when it comes to community building, we kickstart with a free mint of the NFT headphones and free to play. By free mint, we mean distributing 8,000 Genesis headphones for free through the in-app raffle machine we talked about. And with free to play, all users will be welcomed with a pair of free base headphones to start their Hibiki Run journey. And this is how we managed to get these numbers you see on screen without listing any token. And we engage with the community through various events, AMAs, and one special thing about us is the weekly founders chat on Discord to really communicate with the community and address their concerns. On another part is we hosted 4 offline Livehouse events in Japan, and we invite community members, artists, musicians with over 1,000 participants so far. And we already done some amazing AMAs with various partners like Audius, the biggest Web3 streaming platform, Bangless Style Japan, and of course, upcoming ones with Near Foundation. And if anyone here today is interested, please do reach out and let's see if we can do something fun together.
Just want to add on top of what Alex said, as he mentioned that we haven't really launched any of our game tokens, and we are able to achieve this amazing stats. The main reason is that our app is not really for, I know there's a lot of Web3 apps, there's a lot of speculative traders, but we really want to foster the relationship between collectors and creators. And we do feel like in future, the go-to-market strength will be focusing on Web2 and on the independent artists. They have really this big potential of Web2 users, which is their fan base coming to our projects to support their idols. And the current plan for supporting these musicians is to really integrate with different Web3 projects and integrate with different Web3 music streaming platforms such as Audius, as Alex mentioned. And we right now are working with one of the biggest in Japan called Sound Desert. And in future, we're gonna discover more of these kind of partners, and we're gonna do celebrations with this type of music curations in future. And next slide, please. Yep, so I'm just gonna briefly touch on the future roadmap. As we're closing to Q4, the next big thing is to do the wallet integrations. And then early next year, we're gonna do some AIGC type of toolings, mainly because we have rich content from externals. And we do really want, we really want our users to do some UGCs to enrich their experience of collection. And I'll pass to Alex if you want to add something.
Yes, and at the end of the day, Hibiki Run is a gamified music discovery app. And we imagine, a lot of use cases for these cute headphones or, cool-looking, sharp-looking headphones. We can do something like these AR headphones on Instagram, and maybe some RWA, although it's not really comparable, but definitely something we share similar thinking. And all these things we think can have the maximum impact by working in the Near ecosystem and potential collaborations and partnerships with fellow founders. And what Zoe shared about Glass is quite interesting. And especially when it comes to music events where drinking experience is also a key part.
And that's all. Thanks, everybody.
Awesome. Thank you all so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. Really, really good and comprehensive presentations. And as always, really exciting to learn about the integrations with Near and the partnerships. Just in the interest of time, we have a few more coming up, and we have a very special guest, presenting today. They did recently launch a Boss Gateway. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and I'll let Darren from QuickSwap present.
Hey, yeah, good to be here. I'll have to apologise in advance for the Scottish accent. We're like the national animal in Scotland. We're very rare. So if I talk too fast, just let me know. Yeah, obviously I work on the BD team at QuickSwap. Basically, if you go to the next slide, I'll give a little backstory. Yeah, so the main thing that QuickSwap does is it's a decentralized exchange. Everyone's familiar with it. We initially launched as a Uniswap v2 fork. The sort of main thing that happened was, I'll skip to the founders, but the CEO of LDA, which is a marketing firm, actually marketed Polygon in the super early days. And then Sumeet Singhania, which is our lead developer and co-founder, was like a friend of Sandeep, who obviously was a co-founder of Polygon. And I think basically before even testnet launched, Sumeet was sending Sandeep suggestions on dApps to build and just ways to sort of get people onto the chain once Polygon launched. And then essentially what happened was Sumeet met Rock, and then QuickSwap got formed. So they had the marketing firm behind them, and then they had the lead developer. So we've been on Polygon POS since I think 2020, and we've launched on Doge Chain, and then recently Polygon ZK AVM. Yeah, so since then we've been building it just to be more than a DEX, to be like a DragonFi ecosystem, we call it, because obviously dragons are sort of the big thing at QuickSwap. Yeah, so we've been doing things like launching a gaming hub, which actually features like a whole bunch of games on Polygon, not just QuickSwap, QuickPerps, which is our decentralized perpetual exchange, and then a whole bunch of other stuff to try obviously help facilitate Polygon adoption. Yeah, so you can go to the next slide. Yeah, so to just go a little bit more in depth, obviously we have a V2 Uniswap fork. We have a V3 concentrated liquidity model by Algebra Finance. We have obviously the pools and farms. We've got the gaming hub powered by Versa Games, which I'll go into more later. The decentralized perp exchange, and then a whole bunch of protocols that have came to Polygon to build on top of QuickSwap. Yeah, so next slide. So to go a little bit more in depth on the actual swap, which was obviously the sort of core product initially. We had the V2 Uniswap fork, which is the most battle tested bit of code in existence, I think. People have been using that for years now. It hasn't ever had any issues. So yeah, I mean that's initially what QuickSwap launched as. I think we actually managed to get 1.5 billion in TVL at one point, just on the V2 alone. We then launched the V3 concentrate liquidity model, and then if you're unfamiliar with that, basically it's kind of like the V2, but you get more choice. You can pick custom ranges to supply liquidity in. Like if you've obviously been following the market recently, you'd notice that Bitcoin is essentially a stable coin at this point. So if you'd had super concentrated liquidity between maybe like $29,000 and $32,000, you would be taking in a lot more fees than someone who had maybe full range liquidity on V2. So basically you can maximize your liquidity. You can obviously put your funds in places that you think they'll be more effective to get higher returns and more fees. And then on top of that, we've built liquidity managers, which basically do everything for you. So you can go to sleep and you don't wake up out of range on your V3 liquidity. So yeah, next slide. The gaming hub. So actually, it sounds like we probably need to reach out to Hibiki Run about getting listed on this gaming hub. So yeah, we basically have a Polygon gaming hub. We obviously want to help facilitate more adoption on Polygon. The gaming hub doesn't just feature games that are on QuickSwap. It features games that are on Polygon. because we believe obviously helping further the Polygon ecosystem helps benefit everyone. So exactly like obviously the Boss integration, where we're featuring other protocols on ZK-AVM, we're essentially already doing this on Polygon through the gaming hub and through a whole bunch of other means. So basically you can go onto the gaming hub on Polygon, and you can see a whole bunch of like new games that are going to be launching, all the games that have already launched, some categorized games if you like certain types of games. Everything should be there. Yeah, so next slide. Quick perps. So we launched a GMX fork on Polygon ZK-AVM recently. So to go back to the backstory, after we launched obviously on Polygon, we've helped facilitate hundreds of projects to come over to Polygon. QuickSwap has helped bring over hundreds of games, sort of liquidity management solutions, just protocols, borrowing and lending protocols. We were the first major DEX on Polygon, and then we sort of worked with Aave to help facilitate the adoption. So once ZK-AVM launched, we basically had to do the same thing. So when we had the governance vote to launch our perpetual exchange, we decided to do it on ZK-AVM to help facilitate adoption on the new chain. So for those unfamiliar with ZK-AVM compared to sort of traditional chains, if I make a swap and everyone else makes a swap on QuickSwap on Polygon POS, overall minting some NFTs, the gas price goes up because we're all basically just fighting to process our transactions. So it's first come, first serve. You pay more, you get your transaction processed faster. On ZK-AVM, what happens is everyone's transactions get bundled into a proof and then submitted to Ethereum. So the more people that make transactions, the cheaper the actual fees get. So the fees can come way down. So this is a sort of chain that can facilitate mass adoption, wherein if hundreds of thousands of people are on the chain and they're making swaps, the fees can come right down. It can basically be some protocols can ultimately end up paying for the gas for their user if it's so cheap. So obviously we immediately wanted to help facilitate a chain like this. So we obviously launched a perpetual exchange. You can see all the benefits there. It's a GMX fork with some extra stuff. We have the trailing stop loss, take profit orders, etc. But yeah, most people are familiar with GMX, and in the interest of time, I'll sort of just skip to the next. But yeah, so building out the ZK-AVM ecosystem. So as I said before, we really just want to help facilitate Polygon adoption and sort of adoption of crypto. If one of us wins, we all win, basically. So with that, we're more than happy to obviously open up the sort of Boss gateway where people can come into QuickSwap and then get access to all the other protocols on the ecosystem. Yeah, next slide. So yeah, here's an example of the obviously Boss gateway. So you basically just go in, connect your wallet, and then you get access to QuickSwap, Gamma, which is an automatic liquidity manager, PancakeSwap, Balancer. We obviously want to help try add as many things here as possible because again, if one wins, we all win. We want everyone to be able to come to QuickSwap and get access to the ecosystem. And also, Polygon haven't quite publicly proved it yet, but there is obviously a chance of an airdrop, which there's definitely strong rumors. So obviously, adopting a new chain and then getting all those, getting use of all the protocols on there tends to be a good way to get a decent portion of the airdrop. yeah, dropping the alpha, yeah. So yeah, obviously Polygon haven't confirmed it, but there's pretty strong airdrop rumors. With the Polygon 2.0 launch, I think they are looking at maybe adding additional supply. They put in some of their docs, so some of that might go to airdrops. Who knows? Yeah, so it's the next slide. Yeah, so the four protocols that are on the dashboard just now are PancakeSwap, which is a DEX that has primarily been on the Binance Smart Chain for years. They have recently started reaching out onto the other chains, but obviously they pretty much immediately came to Polygon zkAVM, so that they can also see the benefits of launching on a chain that can facilitate mass adoption. There's obviously Balancer, just everyone knows Balancer. It's another AMM. Automatic market maker that you can put like I think up to 8 tokens in a pool instead of the traditional 2 with a usual AMM. And then Gamma strategies, which actually builds on top of QuickSwap. So if you have V3 concentrated liquidity and you aren't really familiar with setting up ranges and rebalancing and compounding the fees, and you don't want all the sort of headaches that go with manually doing all of that, Gamma just basically do it for you. They compound fees, you can still get farm rewards that are claimable. They ensure that your liquidity stays within range. They can preset the ranges depending on your risk appetite. You can have like a narrow range, which gets you more fees, but you're more susceptible to impermanent loss, or you can have a wide range where you're maybe less susceptible to impermanent loss, but don't get as much fees. Just a quick example there. If you have liquidity that is 50% above and 50% below the market price, and you obviously put some liquidity into that, it's actually 4 times more efficient than a traditional V2 liquidity. So if you've got maybe 25k in liquidity with 50% above, 50% below, it's actually the equivalent of 100k of V2 liquidity. People usually like when I just make up numbers like that. So I'm joking. I'm led to believe that's accurate. Yeah. So next slide. Again, with that, we obviously want to help facilitate just adoption of zkAVM, of crypto in general. We definitely want to just help builders come to the chains, help users come to the chains, obviously want to just basically help facilitate just general crypto adoption. If again, literally when one wins, we all win. So I'll sign off with that, some cliche stuff.
All right, thank you so much, Darren, for coming on. I know we're a little bit over time. We have 2 more presenters. Try to keep it brief, but these are incredibly important and insightful. So if you have any time, stick around. But I want to introduce Cameron to cover a awesome boss initiative coming up soon.
Hey everybody, it's great to see you. Name is Cameron Dennis. Was working at Near Foundation for quite a while. Recently spun out to run the Banyan Collective. For those who might not know, our mission is to pragmatically decentralize the Near ecosystem by standing up self-governing communities around the United States. We all work together to support founders, specifically in SF New York to start, but we do a lot of work online, i.e. Boss Hacks. So what is Boss Hacks? It is a 2-week hackathon that kicks off next Friday with over $17,000 in prizes, dedicated to support people to build composable multi-chain React components on the blockchain operating system. For those who might not know what that actually means, Darren just gave a presentation about how QuickSwap just deployed a zkAVM gateway, which is really cool because all of those different components are composable, which means you can fork them and embed them into your site, calling the QuickSwap contracts on Polygon zkAVM, which is really cool because this is how we lower the barrier of entry for a lot of new developers entering the space. And you could pretty much do close to full stack blockchain development in JavaScript and React, which is absolutely game changer for the future of Web3. So Boss Hacks is a hackathon where we're incentivizing people to build. We also have a lot of amazing resources for developers to connect with other developers. So we're hosting office hours almost every single day at 11 a.m. EST. We have team formation happening on DevHub. We have dedicated prizes for different tracks. There's going to be a general track, social and NFTs, impacting governance, multi-chain and DeFi, and bounties dedicated to improving the developer experience for Boss builders. And if you're really interested in sort of continuing on building on Boss, we have a builder rewards program that will be announced soon. as well as an initiative called Build DAO, where you can actually connect more consistently with other builders building on the Boss. So go to bosshacks.com, register today. We are super grateful for our sponsors. So this includes NDC, Creatives DAO, DevHub, OtterSec, JenaDrop, MailChain, GWG, Proof of Vibes, Near Refi, and Indexer. Thank you all so much for sponsoring. It would not be possible without you, as well as our amazing community partners like ShardDog, Marvin J Foundation, Jutsu near Toronto, Minority Programmers near NYC, Republic Crypto near Refi. This is an initiative really to bring a lot of the people focused on Boss education and development all under one roof. We do plan to run a lot more of these. This is the very first one. And the other core thing is all of this is happening on the Boss. So we are actually building out tooling to run hackathons more consistently, everything happening on chain. And would love to connect with you, Darren, maybe another time to organize more hackathons together between different ecosystems, because Boss is inherently multi-chain, and the whole vision will fully be realized once we work with more chains. So that is in a nutshell what we're doing. Be sure to register at bosshacks.com. We have, again, daily office hours in case you need mentorship, incredible resources. We just finished Boss Academy. So you can actually learn, hear from a bunch of the different Boss builders. All the content is online. Those builders will also be mentoring. So super excited about this. Again, kicks off next Friday. Be sure to register ASAP. Team building actually starts next week. So there's a content calendar that you're just able to subscribe to, join every week if you want, and we'll continue the momentum. So thanks so much for having me. And yeah, that's about it. And yeah, if you can hit mentors real quick, amazing mentors. Like, these are the people that actually built most of this stuff, and they are allocating their time to connect with you. And so they're going to be joining a lot of the office hours. If you have any questions about Boss, this is the time to ask them, or just go straight to the, once you register, you actually get a link to the Gitbook and Telegram. So connect there, make sure to register. And yeah, hope to see you next week during team formation. That's just a little bit of information about team formation. So.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And last up, we have Metapool that's going to provide a brief overview of an awesome initiative they have together with Gitcoin. So without further ado, I'll let Claudio take over.
Yes, hello everybody. Hope we'll make this brief. Presentations have been long, and I reckon people have other stuff to do. But anyhow, for those of you that don't know us, Metapool is the first liquid staking token on Aurora and Near, which just recently launched on Ethereum. And also, if you go to near.org, you'll see our Boss component for ETH staking being showcased there on the components. So really happy about that. Next slide. So vision and mission, right, for us is just understanding that proof of stake needs liquid staking in order for it to become more decentralized and more capital efficient. We increase also proof of stake adoption. And so one of the big things and one of the missions that we're going to be pushing forward is how can we become a source of growth for regions in Southeast and Northeast Asia, Africa, and Latin American regions, because we believe that a liquid staking token is the most easiest way for anybody to engage with any blockchain operating system or proof of stake blockchain, which is staking. So it's how we feel that we can onboard those 1 billion users that are going to be coming from emerging markets. Next. So this is a little bit how we work. Basically, you stake, you mint your staked asset, which is MPE, ST-NEAR, or STR for Aurora. And then we have a liquidity swap pool, which is used for folks that want to basically get their staking rewards or their complete assets immediately, or they can choose the normal unstaking period, which varies between 5 to 6 days to 1 week to 2 weeks, depending on Ethereum. So we're basically a liquid staking token, which enables more capital efficiency for proof of stake blockchains. Next. One of the big things we launched this past couple of days has been our stake ETH Boss component. So if you go to near.org, you'll see it right there. You can stake ETH if you were using a decentralized front end. So really excited about everything that Pagoda and the Near core team has been building this couple of months. And now we're showcasing the first liquid staking ETH component on the BOS. So really excited about that one. So yeah, check it out. There's the QR code if you want to try it out. It's on mainnet as well. Go right ahead. Next. One of the big things that we want to do is basically we're solving 4 problems for a proof of stake token, right? Or proof of stake network. In this case, near Ethereum or Aurora. One is liquidity. Of course, you're not locking up your tokens in order for them to accrue the staking rewards. With this liquid staking token, we're freeing more than $20 billion worth of crypto assets that are now being staked. Accessibility is very important. This decentralization aspect, we're not using, and Metapool does not use or run a validator node on the Near network. So we're basically allowing 97 validator nodes from the 220 validator set to get delegation from the protocol. So really excited about this one. And again, just pushing the boundaries for what a proof of stake network can do over in emerging markets. Next, Marcus. A couple of numbers just to showcase that we're coming into our 2nd year anniversary. Actually, next week, we're going to be 2 years since been on Near protocol mainnet. So really happy about that. So we're celebrating with the whole ecosystem around it. So make sure to follow us on Twitter for some cool spaces we're going to be doing with some of our backers and some of our supporters from the Near ecosystem and Ethereum ecosystems as well. Next. Now, we are running fully on a DAO, and this is very important. This is one of the big things we did this year. We're basically decentralized the Metapool liquid staking platform on Near. That means that all protocol fees from the staking rewards are being put back to the community, and we can go into much detail on the next slide. Next, Marcus. So we're basically doing 50% of that, all protocol fees from the staking rewards are going to be allocated to as governance rewards to people participating in the governance of the Metapool DAO, and the other 50% is going to be assigned to community representatives around the Near or Ethereum or Aurora ecosystems that are putting in proposals that can help grow the not only the Near, Ethereum, or Aurora or BOS ecosystems, but blockchain as general as well. We're bullish on the emerging markets, and so that's where we're putting most of our efforts, but we're open to anybody that wants to contribute to this. And through this initiative is that we've launched this partnership with Gitcoin. Next. And I think this is how we're a little bit explaining how more TVL, more delegation coming into Metapool. Next slide means more fees that can be distributed back into the ecosystem, which is a very important part of this narrative of running a DAO on top of a liquid staking token. Next slide. This is basically what we want to do, right? And so we believe that Gitcoin is a very good partner here. Next slide. And with this, Carlos, if you want to come and chip in, this is a little bit of the numbers that we've done on our 1st and 2nd round for the Metapool DAO. And we are putting this effort over in the Gitcoin ecosystem and for the Ethereum and BOS ecosystems that we're going to be helping sprout in the next couple of months. Next slide, Marcus. Carlos, are you there? Let me see if
I'm here.
Perfect. If you want to introduce yourself, and then let's talk about GG18.
Yes, I'm Carlos Melgar. I work on the public goods funding team at Gitcoin. I also been working with partnerships, and I'm really excited about the regional initiatives that we've started. The diversifying staking geographically has been something I've been very bullish on. I've started a couple of projects based on that. And GG18 aims to create more educational content and adoption through our public goods funding featured round. So generally speaking, when matching partners fund a round, they just YOLO into it for the sake of funding public goods. This is a new format that we're experimenting with. The goal here is to create meaningful and tangible results for the funding partners. So instead of just letting the community decide how that's distributed to the grantees, we're also setting up an eligibility, or we have set up an eligibility criteria that requires the grantees to create content, to do workshops, and basically just create more adoption and more brand recognition in the region. And I'm really excited about this because some of the grantees that are participating are leaders in the Latin American region, and they have really strong communities. They organize conferences, and I think this is going to be very, very cool to see how the grantees take on that challenge. And I'm really stoked to see the results from this. And I do think that this experimental new format of public goods funding through the Gitcoin grant stack and Allo protocol will continue to spread to other regions as well. This is just some of the information that we have based on the round. One thing I do want to point out is that this is a great opportunity to amplify the matching round as well, because you do get the marketing power behind Gitcoin, and we have some regional ambassadors as well that are going to be amplifying the round and the matching partners. In this case, it would be Metapool. And just for the sake of throwing metrics out there, the last video one of these ambassadors put out for Gitcoin generated over 100,000 views across his social media platforms. So I'm really, and that's just one of the 6 ambassadors that we're working with as well. So yeah, I'm really excited to continue working with this ecosystem and tapping into the region and creating more adoption.
Thank you very much, Marcus. Yes, and one little bit of alpha, right? So for Gitcoin grants round 19, we will be supporting that as well. And we're gonna have a near boss track for that. So really excited. Right now, the idea is content around staking, around building on boss. And then the next step is for the builders to come in and really showcase what they've learned and what they want to propose for decentralized frontends over on near boss. So really, really excited about this one. So anyhow, thank you very much, everybody, for your time. Appreciate you staying here. Here are the links or whatnot. Reach out to us. Really excited to be supporting. Then North and Southeast Asia and Africa are up next. So really looking forward to everybody putting in their proposals, and let's have some conversation on how we can fund public goods and get more crypto adoption all around the globe. Thank you very much for your time. And thank you very much, everybody.
I do want to throw in a last word call of action. The Latin America round is live now. We've shared the link in the chat. So if you want to support some of these projects, some of these grantees that are participating for this matching pool and creating more adoption and educational content in the region, please go over there and show them some support.
Awesome. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for sticking around. I know we went over time, just in the interest of being adhering to everybody's schedules. Awesome lineup today. And again, I appreciate you taking the time out of your days to come on and present. Hopefully we provided value. And until next time, we'll see you all there. Take care, everybody.